Hi everyone, my name is Desiree Brokwa and I'm a product manager at Oracle, and I work specifically on the monitoring space for Enterprise Manager. Welcome to today's session on extending Enterprise Manager monitoring using plugins, connectors, and notification methods. Here's the agenda. I'll first discuss monitoring non-Oracle technologies using plugins. Then I'll review sending notifications for incidents and events to external systems and stakeholders via connectors and notification methods. Enterprise Manager, or EM, can be used for monitoring both Oracle and non-Oracle technologies, such as Oracle Database, Microsoft SQL Server, and Apache Tomcat. In order to monitor non-Oracle technologies, use their corresponding plugins. For instance, monitor SQL Server instances using the corresponding SQL Server plugin. To begin using plugins, first download the plugin from the self-update page in EM. After the plugin is downloaded, deploy it first to the Oracle Management Service, OMS, and then to the EM agent. After successful deployment, discover the targets you want to monitor and promote them for immediate monitoring using homepages. Now let's take a closer look at some of our monitoring capabilities for non-Oracle technologies. Let's start with MySQL. You can monitor all aspects of the MySQL health, such as status, response time, and performance via homepages. Monitor and view topology of the EnoDB cluster and cluster set. Identify slow-running queries impacting application performance using Query Analyzer, and evaluate compliance against Oracle's best practices and against industry security frameworks for MySQL. For SQL Server, use homepages to monitor status and health of the SQL Server instance and all its individual databases. Leverage the job system to automatically start or stop the SQL agent, schedule backups, or kill sessions. Identify top queries impacting performance by CPU time, execution count, and block time, and evaluate compliance of your SQL Server instances against configuration best practices. For IBM DB2, use homepages to monitor its status and health, automate jobs to start up or shut down DB2, to quiesce or unquiesce DB2 during maintenance modes, or to kill DB2 applications. And identify top SQL queries by execution count and CPU time. EM also provides plugins for non-Oracle middleware technologies, which are Apache Tomcat, JBoss, Microsoft IIS, and IBM WebSphere. EM supports the latest corresponding target versions for these middleware technologies. Across all the middleware targets are the following features: homepages for status and performance monitoring, out-of-box performance metrics and configuration settings, pre-configured jobs that allow you to start and stop the target server remotely from the EM console, and information publisher reports. Although there are certain features that are specific to certain targets, you can leverage these common features across all the target types. For monitoring setup, there are corrective actions to automate alert resolution and metric extensions to create custom metrics. Use monitoring templates to contain alert thresholds as well as corrective actions and metric extensions that are created. There is also administration groups, which will be useful to automate monitoring template apply operations. After monitoring setup, incident management features such as events and incidents allow you to monitor the issues impacting your targets. An event is a significant occurrence on a managed target that typically indicates something has occurred outside normal operating conditions, whereas an incident consists of one or more actionable events. Event compression policies help to reduce the incident volume by grouping related events into a smaller set of actionable incidents. Some users monitor events or incidents through other external systems per their enterprise requirements. Therefore, EM supports sharing of events and incidents through multiple ways, such as notification methods, ticketing connectors, or event connectors. You can also use dynamic runbooks to encapsulate best practice procedures in the form of executable steps to diagnose and resolve an issue. With alerting setup, you may have planned maintenances of your targets that may trigger many alerts. To combat this, we have blackouts to prevent unnecessary alerts from being sent when you bring down a target for scheduled maintenance operations. In addition, there are compliance management features such as compliance standards to evaluate compliance of your targets against best practices, a compliance dashboard for a fleet-wide view of the overall compliance, and an evaluation report with a list of all compliance violations and recommended remediations. EM's Extensibility Development Kit, also known as EDK, supports custom target types via creating plugins in order to monitor infrastructure or apps that are not included out of box. Let's take a look at the workflow to creating a custom plugin. First stage is the development stage. This is where you decide the target types to include in the plugin, identify performance and configuration metrics needed, and construct metadata files in XML of the target types with respective information. After the plugin details have been specified, test that the plugin is working properly in a test environment before adding it into a production environment. Once tested, release the plugin to production so it can be used by other EM admins. Make sure to deploy the plugin first to the OMS and then to the EM agents, as plugins work in conjunction with the OMS and the agent to monitor targets. This custom plugin can then be used as any other plugin to monitor other infrastructure or apps as targets in EM. Now we're going to switch gears to discuss how to send notifications for incidents or events to external systems and stakeholders. Let's take a look at how EM incident and event notifications are sent. Once an agent sends an event to the OMS works to send respective event or incident notifications to external systems via the following ways. First is through notification methods, which allows sending both EM events and incidents. The notification methods supported include email, Slack, webhooks, SNMP traps, OS commands, and PL SQL procedures. Next, we have ticketing connectors to open tickets based on EM incidents in PagerDuty, Jira, and ServiceNow. Key features of the ticketing connectors include customizable ticket templates to automate ticket creation and closing, synchronization of external tickets with EM incident lifecycle, in-context access to external tickets from EM incidents and vice versa, and a retry option for failed requests to share incident data. Last is event connectors to share EM events to Microsoft SCUM and IBM Tivoli. Key features of the event connectors include customization of event to alert mappings via event templates, synchronization of EM events with the alerts in the external system, URL reference to EM event details from the external system, and a retry option for failed requests to share event data. As previously mentioned, there are two types of management connectors, ticketing connectors and event connectors. On the right of the slide are the ticketing connectors and event connectors that are supported in EM. There are 3 steps to begin using a connector after it has been downloaded. First is to configure the connector settings. Next, use the default ticket or event template or customize it to your liking. After, you can use the connector in the actions of your incident or event roles. Now I'm going to walk through these 3 steps using the ServiceNow ticketing connector as an example. Note, this workflow is similar for configuring an event connector as well. You can configure the ticketing connector with just a few properties. The connection settings is used for the communication from EM to ServiceNow in order to create, update, and close the ServiceNow ticket. The Web Console settings allow EM incidents to provide links to the ServiceNow tickets that are created. The grace period is a time window in which the reoccurrence of the same incident should reopen the existing ticket rather than creating a new one. which is useful to prevent creating a large number of tickets. Lastly, the retry period enables a failed ticketing request to be retried for a specified amount of time. Once you have specified the configuration settings, review ticket templates which specify the mappings from EM incident attributes and ServiceNow ticket attributes. There are 3 out-of-the-box ServiceNow templates you could choose from. Create an update, which automatically updates ServiceNow ticket notes. Create update and resolve, which automatically updates ServiceNow ticket notes and sets ticket status to resolved once an EM incident is cleared. And create update and close, which automatically updates ServiceNow ticket notes and sets ticket status to closed once an EM incident is cleared. Note that in ServiceNow, the resolve status comes before the close. A resolved ticket indicates that a fix has been completed. Meanwhile, a closed ticket indicates that the solution has been verified. Let's take a look at the workflow for the Create, Update, and Close ticket template. Assume an incident rule set has been created that applies to a production group. In this rule set, there's an event rule to create incidents from events, and there's an incident rule that opens ServiceNow tickets from the incidents created, and it uses the Create, Update, and Close template. When an EM event is generated, an EM incident is automatically created, which then opens a corresponding ticket in ServiceNow. Eventually, when the EM event is cleared, this will clear the EM incident, which will then automatically close the ServiceNow ticket per the template selected. You can also customize the out-of-box ticket templates to change default mappings. For example, modify an existing template to map warning incidents in EM from medium impact in a ServiceNow ticket to instead a high impact. Or, if you want to start with a fresh slate, create a new ticketing template. Next step is to create ServiceNow tickets. Before a ServiceNow ticket can be created, you will have to create an event rule in EM's incident rule set page that creates incidents from events. Once incident creation occurs, you can create the ServiceNow ticket from the EM incidents in 2 ways. We recommend creating an incident rule that automatically creates the ServiceNow tickets based on EM incidents, or you also have the option to manually create a ServiceNow ticket for previous incidents using the Incident Manager console. This is useful for if you want your IT ops team to first review the incident before deciding to open a ticket. If you enabled Web Console settings during configuration, then you can access ServiceNow tickets directly from Incident Manager in EM. Here is an example of part of the tracking section of an incident in Incident Manager. Once a ticket is open, EM's incident is updated to include a link directly to the ServiceNow ticket. In the ServiceNow ticket, a ticket number is automatically generated. The ServiceNow impact is updated based on EM severity, and the ServiceNow urgency is set based on EM priority. In the ServiceNow description section, it provides more context of the EM incident, such as the incident summary, severity, and target type. And then there's also a link to navigate you back to EM that you can copy and paste directly into your browser. Now you may be wondering, how do you integrate with systems that aren't covered by the out-of-box connectors? Well, there are multiple methods to integrate with other ticketing systems and event management systems. For integrating with ticketing systems, you can build your own ticketing connector using our connector framework. This will require a web service in the ticketing system that the connector can invoke to create and update ticket information. For integrating with event management systems, you can build your own event connector using our connector framework. This will require a web service in the event management system that the connector can invoke to create and update event information. You also have the option to use notification methods, which can send EM incident and event notifications to both external ticketing systems and event management systems. Choose from a variety of notification methods to send EM events and incidents to external systems. EM supports notification methods for webhooks, Slack, SNMP traps, OWASP commands, and PL SQL statements. There are 2 steps to use. First is to configure the notification method. The configuration step differs across the notification type. After configuration, you must select the notification method to use in an incident or event role. Now I'll be walking through setting up a webhook notification method as an example. Using webhooks, you can send EM incident or event data to any external system that supports receiving information through webhooks, such as Microsoft Teams. First, select if you want the notification method to apply to incidents or events. For integrating with ticketing systems, we recommend to select sending incidents, and for event management systems, we recommend to send events. In this example, I will be walking through setting up a webhook incident notification. Next, configure the notification method. This configuration step differs across the notification methods that are supported. For webhooks, you would first specify a name and description. Next, enter a webhook URL and other connection details. The webhook URL is the endpoint that EM will call with the incident payload. External systems such as Microsoft Teams and Slack may refer to this as an incoming webhook. We also support basic authentication, which requires a username and password. If you need communication to go through a proxy server, then you also specify the proxy host and port. We also have HTTP headers, which can be used for passing application-specific name-value pairs to your external system. After, specify the content and the format of the HTTP request via the webhook incident payload. When the HTTP request is sent, the payload variables will be replaced by the corresponding incident data. For example, the incident severity payload would be replaced by the actual EM incident severity, which could be warning or critical. You may also enable repeat notification for your webhook by selecting the checkbox at the bottom of the page. Once you have saved your notification method for webhooks, you can test it out before enabling it for use. To use the webhook notification method, you must create a rule set. Within the rule set, first set up an event rule to create incidents from events, since the webhook notification configured was specific to incidents. And then after, create an incident rule by selecting the option to apply this rule to newly created incidents or updates to incidents. This incident rule is where you will select the option to send notifications on the incident via webhooks. Once you get to the Add Actions page in the incident rule, your webhooks method that was configured will appear in the Advanced Notification section. This is where you can select the method that you configured in order to send incident notifications to the external system. Enterprise Manager provides a centralized platform for monitoring all of your infrastructure and applications. This comprehensive tool allows you to monitor both Oracle and non-Oracle technologies using existing plugins or developing custom plugins through the Extensibility Development Kit. Also, send event or incident notifications on the monitor technologies via out-of-box connectors, custom event and ticketing connectors, or notification methods such as webhooks and Slack. By consolidating all monitoring and notification processes into one platform, EM allows you to manage your entire ecosystem efficiently and effectively. Thanks for joining the session today. For more information about Oracle Enterprise Manager, refer to the resources listed here. Make sure to check out our documentation on how to create custom plugins to monitor other infrastructure and apps, and our documentation on how to create custom connectors to integrate with external systems. Thanks, everyone.